Continuing with the Quran reading, this is the New English Translation. This is chapter 02, the account of the Heifer of Israel. The following are the verses from verses 16 to 25. That nation of people had traded its Lord's guiding light for a perverted sense of morality. But their commerce was not profitable, and their rulings were highly misguided. Their state of affairs is like the tale of that man whose trek had led him to a burning bush with flames that did not consume any wood. It shined a light on all things around him, and his purpose became limpidly clear. But then the will of God intervened, and it extinguished the light of his nation's soul. The Lord our God had forsaken those folks. They became blind, mired in the darkness of their ignorance. In reality, they behaved like the one who was deaf, dumb, and blind, unable to reverse his disastrous course. And it is like that day when they all stood paralyzed, huddled under the relentless showers of a storm that suddenly appeared in the sky above them. They were trapped in the total darkness of the thick clouds. They shook from the sounds of thunder and shuddered from the lightning. They trembled with fear for their lives, plugged their ears with their fingers to shut out the deafening explosions of thunder. As it ever was, God, the one Spirit in all, their Lord, knew the sinners in their midst who had worshipped idols, and he set up limits to surround them. For a moment or two, the fire in the cloud and its lightning blinded them, but these momentary bursts of light illuminated a path ahead, and they walked in it. The eerie calmness of a tempest with no lightning made them freeze in their place, and the low, thick clouds descended on them, casting their eyes into blindness. They were transfixed by the darkness and could not go anywhere. It was the will of the Lord, their God, that gave them ears to hear the word and eyes to see right from wrong. And it would be his will, had he willed it, that could deprive them of such perceptive faculties. God is capable of doing anything he wants. He is a Lord that can get things done. His will reigns supreme. He can triumph over any adversity, overcome any obstacle, and defeat any power. His will is superior to man's perceived free will. We say to all people of all nations, do not make a human being an idol worthy of your worship. Do not worship anything or anyone besides the one true God. He is the only Lord who has real powers over your life. Worship him, for he had created you, gave you for free a gift in the form of the life that you enjoy, the same way he had done with all those people who had lived on this earth before you. Do the right thing so you may avoid his anger and prevent your fall from grace. The Lord your God is the one who had created for you this openness in the vast lands, so you would roam in it like a free bird and move wherever you pleased, setting up your dwellings of comfort. He erected a heavenly dome for your soul's ascendance. He commands the rain to fall from the sky above, thereby sending his elixir of life to a barren land. Then he commands water to make a tree grow and bear all kinds of fruits for your sustenance. Therefore it is incumbent upon you not to fabricate idols with your own hands and make believe that they hold mysterious powers over your lives, like the real powers of God, because you know otherwise. We had sent our word from the soul's high place down to the heart of our devoted servant. It is a true reading of the Spirit in control of the laws of this universe. If you are troubled by this vision, if your heart is filled with ingrained trust and suspicion, then invent your own composition. We challenge you to objectify the spirit of your idols in a single speech, surah, that would convey some uniting qualities like the ones captured in this holistic perception, Quran. Then use the words of your speech to petition the lifeless statues that you had chosen to idolize in the stead of the one living God. Being true to your faith is the challenge here. If you honestly believe in your idols, then you should supplicate them the way we petition the eternal true God. They should answer your prayers like God answers ours. The challenge is not about composing mellifluous poems and rhyming phrases. It is about a worthy ideal. It is impossible to fashion a concept of unity when your heart is torn by the claims of so many gods. So even if you were willing, you will not be able to do such a thing. It might be wise for you then not to keep going down that path of sinning. This will be the punishment waiting for you at the end of the line. You will be thrown in the pit of fire, the tormenting flames of twisted passions. Fodder for that fire is in constant supply from the people's infinite passions for their idols. The pit is always prepared to receive newcomers. Invitations are being sent every day to invite newly initiated immoral sinners. Spread the news to the faithful flock, heralding the felicities of the good fortune in store for them. Heavenly rewards will come to all people who put their faith and trust in God and then manifest their faith in performing functions of moral value and making real contributions to humanity. They will rest in the eternal paradise of the soul, which is streams of water flowing from the springs of life underneath. Whenever they receive some means of sustenance from the abundance of His providence, they would say, "It feels like we had received something like this somewhere in the past." They are provided with something that they had already become intimately familiar with in a past life. Every person in this world receives his customized bounties of providence. They were reserved especially for him. They come to each one in a different form, but every person will certainly get what he had strived for. In paradise, they will find their spouses to be pure, clean from contamination, and free from the dark flecks of evil in the soul. They will enjoy the bliss for all eternity, as heaven will be the kingdom of their immortal existence.